the housing market is changing rapidly. Hey, Bulls and Bears, we're going to get into an economic report today. We want to start, though, with housing. Some big changes in the housing market. Now, we haven't seen prices plunge like many people predicted, right? And I think I was one of the only channels to say that the housing bubble was not going to go bust because the banks have all been backstopped this time, way different than 2008. In 2008, the banks were on the verge of insolvency until all the rescue packages came in. So we're in a whole different world, but the laws of economics still have to play out at some point, and we're seeing some big changes. Let's start off with real estate. We've got some other news with store closings and unemployment numbers here coming up later in this report. Let's start right here out of Bloomberg. U.S. home deals fell apart at record rate for June, according to Redfin. And what we're seeing here, we have 56,000 home purchases fell through last month. In other words, people signed the contract, and at some point during the home buying process, they either backed out or it got dropped out of escrow for other reasons, right? Some voluntary, some involuntary. That's equal to about 15% of all home purchases. The contract fell through. That's the highest share of cancellations for the month of June, going all the way back to 2017. And I'll just give you kind of an excerpt out of here, which is pretty obvious. Buyers are becoming more skittish in the face of record high home prices and higher mortgage rates. Facing steep costs, house hunters are increasingly parting with homes under contract, sometimes because of small problems. Yeah, so when you pay maximum price for a house, it only takes a couple small problems to put you over the edge and put you into insolvency, right? Especially when you look at the cost of repairs and the cost of a new roof and everything else. If it's not a brand new updated home and you pay today's prices for a home, and then you have a repair, maybe not even that big of a repair, maybe a new furnace, a new air conditioning, a new roof. Forget about a new roof, right? What was it, $20,000-$30,000 now? In California, that's what I've been seeing as far as prices go. Shoppers have been confronting a tough market since 2022 when rates started rising. Sellers are now trying to adjust to merciful buyers. Owners cut prices on nearly 20% of all listed homes in June. That's a record for the month of June. That's up 14% from a year ago. But for the month of June, 20% of home sales having price cuts is a record, bigger than 2009, 10, 11, and 12 when home prices were sinking. Folks, this should be a sign that something is dramatically changing in the housing market, right? And we've got some other housing news to get into today. Let's talk about this. Oh, I should mention, by the way, home prices did hit another new record. The inventory is so low that the homes that are for sale, people are, one, still bidding up prices, and two, we still have a lot of big money investors, big corporations coming in and buying homes. We're going to talk about that later, a little bit later in this report. But yes, home sales down, home prices up. Take a look at this chart right here. As of June, 426,000, almost 427,000. And you see each summer prices spike in the month of June, right? We saw April here, 2022. But then June was 413,000. That was the high for the year. 2023 was it June? Yeah, June again was the top, 410,100. We saw the drop, and now the spike up to nearly 427,000. The scary part is, yes, we're seeing higher highs every summer, in this case every June, but the lows are also higher. So we're still on an uptrend for home prices. Believe it or not, we're still on an uptrend, right? Again, I think I was the only channel telling everyone, be careful, it's going to get worse. Inflation is going to get worse. Home prices are going up. Will things be reversing anytime soon, or will they at least maybe level out and stop going up? And this trend of higher highs and lower lows, will that start to reverse at some point? Well, let's take a look at some other information that tells us there may be a turning point coming up here very, very soon. And this is coming out of wolfstreet.com. Supply spikes to the highest in 4 years. So that tells us that we're starting to see some home sellers get desperate, and we're starting to see more homes hit the market here Let's bring up a chart on this for you. And instead of a uptrend, well, actually, no, we're seeing an uptrend here too. We see an uptrend in sales prices, but we also see an uptrend in inventory. So at some point, if this continues, it looks like things will at least level out and maybe start correcting at some point. So here we go, months of supply of existing homes. And we see the spikes typically happen in June. That's the busiest month, the highest prices. And we see inventory, months of supply in this case, an uptrend, right? Ever since 2022, we went from 1.5 months, spiked up to 3.2 months, down in the winter, just over 2.5 months, up to 3.5 months, down again last winter to just under 3 months. Now we've spiked up to about 4.1 months of inventory, right? Supply of existing home. And what they mean by the number of months is how long it would take these homes to sell and get rid of all the homes, get all the homes off the market based on the average list to sales price. And then no more new homes coming onto the market. That's how they calculate months of supply, how long it would take to clear all these homes out of the market if no new homes came on the market. So we can see that we're at the highest here since looks like mid to late 2020. Right, so uptrend, home prices seeing an uptrend as well. At some point, though, the inventory, if it gets high enough, will start balancing out some of these price gains and maybe start seeing some more price drops. Right, so signs of relief on the horizon for home buyers. Will it be enough? No, I don't think so. A lot of people are in big trouble financially. We're going to talk about a few things that are going to underpin that here in just a few moments here. But first of all, I want to bring this article up. This is just a sign, to me, a sign of what our banking system has become. All right, let's look what this guy did here. Edmund Mann, I believe that's Washington, accused of racking up thousands in credit card debt in teenage son's name. First of all, how much available credit on credit cards, would you guess that a teenager has? Maybe he's 19 years old. Maybe he has a good job. Edmund police are investigating a man accused of racking up more than $60,000 worth of debt in his teenage son's name. His bond was set at $100,000. Folks, $60,000 available credit is what this teenager had. Does it say how old he was? It's going to be really sad if this kid was 16 years old or something like that with $60,000 available credit. Let's see here. Says one of the cards was Chase. Morris told police he paid all the debt and never missed payments. Police arrested Morris at his home. So basically, it's fraud when you run up debt in somebody else's name, even if you pay it off. Imagine that. He is 63 years old. Gosh, I feel real sorry for somebody. On one hand, he's not a good guy for doing that. But on the other hand, you've got to feel sorry for these people having to run up debt in their son's, in this case, teenage son's name. Crazy, folks. It didn't give the age of the teenager, so maybe he was 19. Even if it's 19, it's still, to me, pretty jaw dropping. That $60,000 worth of credit at 19 years old. I know when I was 19, I didn't have anything near $60,000 worth of credit. I think I might have had one credit card, maybe. I think it was Capital One was my first credit card, and I think I got a $1,500 credit limit. I remember telling myself, okay, by the time I'm old enough to go to the bar, I'm going to have, some good credit here to throw around and buy some drinks. Anyways, thought that was pretty interesting with that article. Let's move on here, folks. Big Lots. We had a report 2 weeks ago telling you kiss Big Lots goodbye because a lot of them are closing, and you might see all of them close at some point because bankruptcy might be knocking on the door. 3 San Diego locations here, and one of them is my town, and one of them is La Mesa. Big Lots closing these San Diego County stores, and it's one in La Mesa, that's where I'm at, one in El Cajon, and the other one is in Oceanside. So for those of you familiar with the San Diego area in Southern California here, you might want to go look for some good deals. Maybe they'll start cutting their prices on the closeout deals, the going out of business, or in this case, not going out of business, but closing the location deals. What do they call them? Clearance sales. The prices got so high at Big Lots, I quit going there. And one of the big things we reported just a couple weeks ago was the theft problem, right? Of course, you have high cost of just everything, everywhere you look. High cost of energy, cost of doing business is higher, everything's higher. But Big Lots named theft as one of the items that caused all the losses and the big problems leading to these closures. As long as I can remember, as long as I've been old enough to shop, I've been going to Big Lots. Let's move on here. Another reason why home prices aren't dropping. Of course, they drop in the winter, then they come back up, but we're seeing higher highs and lower lows like we saw in that chart. So when I say dropping, it doesn't mean they never drop. You see minor seasonal drops, but when the summer rolls back around, it's new all-time highs, right? That's what I mean by never dropping. And I've talked about this here, but here's one of the reasons why home prices aren't dropping. Down payment assistance program. We have these folks in every state. How the down payment assistance programs can help clear the path to home ownership, yes, and it can also cause prices to go up because you have people getting into homes that really probably shouldn't be getting into homes. Down payment assistance programs hit an all-time high. What did I tell you? Right here on this channel, what have I been telling you? Here it is, Housing Wire. Down payment assistance programs hit an all-time high. With home prices at all-time highs, is it smart? Is it wise to get people into homes that normally can't afford a home? Right? If you can only buy a home because of a down payment assistance program, you might want to double check your finances, right? And maybe everything will turn out fine. Maybe I'm a doom forecaster here, but to me, if you need a down payment assistance program to buy a home, that might mean that you're in some financial difficulty having to rely on the down payment assistance program. Is it just me thinking along these lines? Please let me know your thoughts down in comments. That's according to the second quarter 2024 Home Ownership Program Index Report from Down Payment Resource, which tracks home buyer assistance programs. The number of down payment assistance options rose from the previous quarter. Also, there was this American Rescue Act with stimulus that funded these assistance programs. It's crazy, folks. I mean, this is obvious to see. Also, we still have a lot of institutional, big money corporations buying homes here. Let me just bring up some data on that. Actually, we'll pull up a chart on that in a minute here just to confirm exactly where we're at. But inventory is super low. Most of you probably know that. And we've got investors snatching up nearly 1 in 3, nearly 1 in 3 of all homes. So not only is inventory low, 1 in 3 homes being bought right now are being bought by investors. I'll take a look at how MoneyWise put this here, how they worded this situation here. Cut off at the ankles, question mark. Home buyers struggle to become owners, with investors now snatching up nearly 30% of single-family homes in the U.S. What lawmakers are doing about it? They're not doing anything about it because the lawmakers are getting rich. They're funded. A lot of them are funded from the same corporations that are buying up the homes, right? You see what's going on here, folks? You think these politicians all just learn how to invest very wisely once they become, part of the political elite? Or do they get kickbacks from a lot of these companies that benefit from the laws, or in this case, the lack of laws that allow big business to come in and buy so many homes? You see what's going on here, folks? Nearly 1 in 3 homes bought by investors. Inventory is already low. The people getting these down payment assistance programs, a lot of them may not even need down payment assistance if they didn't have to compete with big business, right? You see what's going on here, folks? This is a way to make unaffordability even worse, and we're already at all-time high unaffordability for the average U.S. consumer here. Here's another article here that basically backs up what we've been talking about, what we just mentioned here. 42% of aspiring homeowners already can't afford a down payment. Are real estate investors making things worse? Well, yes, they are, of course. In the article here, how real estate investors affect the housing shortage. Now, we've seen a little bit of a change in that. All cash offers from big investors recede, giving mom and pops an edge in the housing market. So even though they are pulling back a little bit, all cash offers are starting to recede. It's still a big problem when 1 in 3 homes are bought by a big business, an investor. Right, I got one more segment I want to fit in here. Let's talk about what most of us see every day. I'm sure at some point, all of us that are driving a vehicle, at some point we drive by a fast food place. Take a look at this here. Dollar drain. Angry McDonald's fans fume. I'm better off not eating. As a report reveals menu prices surged by 199% in the last 10 years. Well, let's see, 100% is doubling. If something doubles, that's 100% gain, right? From dollar to $2, 100%. If something triples, that's a 200% gain, right? So $1 to $2 to $3, a 200% gain in 10 years. And the biggest culprits, oh, let's see right here, McDonald's prices. Wow, it shows you the different prices for different categories. This is reported out of the Sun for those that are interested. But what I really wanted to bring up here, which burger chain has the most expensive prices? I'm going to tell you, even before I looked at this, I knew it was Five Guys. And it is Five Guys. The average price of a meal, and this is just for one person, $20.84 at Five Guys. Jack in the Box, $13.75. Look how much more Five Guys is compared to the next nearest uh, burger place, in this case, Jack in the Box. Wendy's, $12.41. Burger King, $10.61. McDonald's, $7.57. I'm surprised that Carl's Jr. didn't make the list. They're pretty expensive. They are a place out here in California. My son wanted a burger a couple months ago, and Carl's Jr. wasn't cheap. But things may be changing as well. We may be seeing a shift in fast food like we are in the housing market. Fast food chains jacked up their prices now. They're trying to win you back with value menus. Why are they trying to win people back? Has business dropped off? Is it going to be like Big Lots where we're going to start seeing a bunch of fast food places go under? Well, with the minimum wage laws here in California, we're already seeing a lot of fast food joint closures. But will that spread nationwide? I mean, let me know what you think about that here. But all right, let's wrap it up here, though. The housing market is shifting. Inventory now, the highest it's been in many years. Price is still all-time highs again in June. When does it change? When does it shift? Do we have to stop investors from buying homes to ever get home prices to go back down to anywhere towards affordability? All right. What do you think about that? Should big business be allowed to buy homes? Now, we looked at investors, 1 in 3 buying homes. Not all of them were big business. Some of them are just the small time investors that own a few homes. But either way, you're still competing with investors when you go to buy a home. If you're just trying to buy a home to live in, you're having a very tough time. You're competing with investors, people that are buying these homes for a profit. Shouldn't housing just be a place to live? If it was, a lot of us wouldn't have to work as hard as we're working today. You wouldn't have all these people working multiple jobs. It's the biggest expense. Keeping a roof over your head is the biggest expense. Even retired people can't relax. Retired people, you would think that would be your golden years. You're retiring, you can relax. Retired people that I talk to, and I talk to people all day at work. This is my job. I do finance. Retired people that I talk to are stressed to the max with the cost of everything. A lot of them are on fixed incomes. They can't work. They're too old sometimes to work a side hustle or a second job. You're supposed to be retired. That's the point. You shouldn't have to work even one job. A lot of them are working a job still, even though they're supposed to be retired. And a lot of them aren't working. They're just on fixed income. A lot of them have health problems, right? It's not as simple as someone younger go out and get a second job. So very interesting times, folks. I still feel like something big is ready to drop here. We've got a lot of shenanigans with we talked about big business earlier. A lot of these big multi-trillion-dollar valued companies have been involved in some very interesting things, and we're going to see some revelations, to say the least, here coming up very soon as the days progress here, going into the fall, and especially into the later part of 2024. Buckle up, folks. It's going to get wild, and we could see something massive change the entire trajectory of this economy, of the housing market, of everything that we know and talk about here financially and economically. Please make sure you're subscribed. Critical time, folks. As always, keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace. All right, folks, I want you to consider this. Start shopping for real estate like the professional investors do. Foreclosure.com, you can look for, of course, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, bankruptcies, city-owned property, tax liens before they hit the market. This is how the pros do it and get the best deals, folks. Link down in description, free trial. Give it a try. Doesn't hurt to give it a try and take a look. If you don't like it, you don't have to continue with it. It's free. Take a look at the description down below and start looking for homes the smart way.